Okay, so last session we discussed about working with how we can deal with arrays. The concept of arrays, I given an overview for that, right? So we learned about what is array, what is the purpose of array, how do we declare arrays. So what is array and purpose of array, and how array is different in JavaScript. Generally, that is the actual nature of array. How array is different in JavaScript from other technologies, some points we know. They can handle various types of values. They can handle memory, which can be changed dynamically. These all things we done. Next, we learned how to configure array. In that, we learned that array requires declaration and initializing or assigning of memory. Now, once we know that, now we need to learn how do we store values, storing values into array. How we can store values into array, storing values into array. How do we store the values into array? So actually, to store values into array, one more important thing you need to know is, here also people have little bit wrong idea about arrays. Actually, suppose we allocated memory, LET, some values is an array type. Now what happens is, when you configured an array like this, usually memory is allocated in this way. In this memory, we generally have partitions. So memory, we have partitions like this. So we have these divisions internally. In these partitions, these values, actually every partition have a reference index, actually 0, 1, 2, 3, that is index. But what you have to know here is, this is index. In that, we are storing some values, some TV, some values like mobile, some value like some watch. So something values are stored inside this in this way. Some shoe like this. Generally, in the memory, 0, 1, 2, 3 are index numbers. They are index numbers, but here we have TV. This is actually stored and referred in a property called 0. And this is 1. I am writing in double quotes, means actually it is string. That means 3. So we call these as properties. Now generally, people while learning about arrays, we write like this: values of 0 they think that this 0 is index number, but actually this 0 is not index, it is property. It is not index, it is property. It's not number, it is string. So majority of people who know about arrays, they don't know this. They think that it is index number. Let's prove this point here. So what I will do here, just temporarily to show you here, I have so var or let or something, products is equal to array. We have TV, we have mobile, so we have some shoe, some watch, something like this. And see, I'm writing some logic, don't worry. So var, I'm writing a logic to read all the properties and all. Var property in this I will tell you in the next concept. Property in products, we are reading every property, and document dot write, we are printing the property here, property. So here we are printing the property in a square brace, and I want to print the properties data type. So then I will use type of property and put a line break. So you can see here, I'm writing a program to read all properties of array. And you can see that it is going to print all the properties, and they are all string type. 0 is a string, 1 is a string, 2 is a string, 3 is a string. For example, see, I will write like this: products of string, I will give as 4. And in the so that is also added. That is also string. Even you don't write as string. So even you don't write as string, it is string. Generally, people don't have this habit. What they do, products, they write 5. So, and they think that it is index number. It is index number. So, which is not. It is not index number. If it is index number, why it is showing data type string? It is not index number. Suppose I stored something like some boot, something like this. And you can see, so this is also string. So that means, remember, what you are storing is not the concept. What you are storing is not the concept. Even you store here a number, you store a number, the property is string type only. Suppose I will print the value also for your understanding sake. See, I will say products of property, and you can see I am printing the values also. You see, 1000 is value, but its property is string type. Value is number, the property is string. So how values are stored in an array? How values are accessed from an array? So values are stored and accessed from an array. So values are stored and accessed from an array by using property. Values are stored and accessed from an array by using property. Actually, property maps to index in memory. Property maps to index in memory. That means property name will be same name as index name. That is the reason people think that it is index, but you are not actually using index. You are using the properties. You are using the properties. It is property. It's not index. Index. For example, see the diagram I will upload into class. This diagram I will upload into the class that I showed you here. I will upload that. So this is mapping to properties, and the property name will be same as index name. That is the reason, obviously, it is reasonable that people will confuse. They think that these are all index numbers. Index numbers. So I will save this array. Okay. So the point here is we can store values with reference of properties. We can access with reference of property. Suppose, see here, I am removing this. This is just to prove that it is string type. I want to access document.write. I want to access mobile. Then people have an habit of products of 1. But I will write products of 1 as string. Write as string. Then you can see that that's also same. So these are properties, not index numbers. Index numbers. So that is technically how we can access. So observe carefully. Suppose I am not allocating memory, means initializing or assigning memory, and I try to store some values. Suppose I am defining like this is 1 and this is 2. I am trying to print 1. And observe carefully. So when I refresh this, nothing is printed. Go to console, and in the console, see the error. The error says that cannot set properties. It is not saying I cannot set index. So it cannot set property. And see, property means in the bracket, setting into 1. 1 is a string. It is unable to set property into it. So the values are stored in an array. They are accessed from an array with reference of properties that map to index. So you are not directly dealing with index. So here syntactically, suppose let values is equal to array. So, and here, so let values of 0 is equal to some 10. This is also valid. Let values of 1 in that 20. This is also valid. You can, even you write as number, its type is string. So that is the reason you don't need to write as a string. You can just write number. It will automatically internally treat it as a string only. So that is how we can configure. And when you are printing document.write, so values of, you can access 1, you can access 0. So that will be fine. Or you can access document.write values of 1. You can access like this. This is storing values into array. How we can store the values into array. You can directly initialize the values. That means another syntax. This is for initialization of values. You know already let values is equal to in that 10, 20, 30, like this you can do. You can assign values or you can initialize values. Or you can also write like values is equal to new array in that 10, 20, 30. I told you that you can have a constructor or you can have a meta character. Array constructor or array meta character. You can initialize values into array or you can assign values. Initialization and assignment. That is, this is the point you need to understand how we can store values. Now, how you can read values from array. Same, reading values from array. For that, so many techniques are there. One technique is, so you can use the reference of property. You can use reference of property that already we saw. Reference of property means values of 0 like that, or values of 1. You can use string type, number type. By reference of property you can read. Or you have some other important techniques. You can read values from an array by using array methods. By using array methods. What are the array methods used for reading values from array? We have toString, we have join, we have toString, we have join, we have slice, we have filter, we have find, we have map. So we will not use some old deprecated methods, because we will use which are advanced and which are good for future generation. Because you people have an habit of browsing on internet, so different tutorials on JavaScript, then different ideas from different websites you will get. But what is problem is, you will forget about which version you are learning, in which version tutorial you are watching. Some outdated methods, outdated properties, we don't care them, ignore. We don't even discuss them. You may find them in several websites, but time waste, useless, ignore them. So learn only advanced, so learn only best features which are available and which are used regularly. Other things, don't waste time in that. So just ignore them. So many methods will be there. First, I am telling you about the methods of array to read elements, values. String, join, slice, filter, find, and map. What is difference between them? These are array methods. Actually, toString, what it will do is, so converts, reads and returns all array elements in a string format. String format actually separated with commas. String format separates everything with a comma. So it reads and returns all elements with custom delimiter. Delimiter means separator. Custom delimiter means our own separators. It reads and returns all elements with custom delimiter. Custom delimiter means our own separators. ToString will use a separator called comma. And the join will use custom delimiters. I will show you that. Slice, you know, already we used this in a string. So it reads elements between specified index. It returns all elements that match given condition. Find returns only the first element that match given condition that match given condition. Map, it is an iterator. It is an iterator for presenting elements. It is an iterator for presenting elements. We'll see that how these options are used. These are all for reading elements from an array. How we can read by using array methods. So differences we will examine now. What is the string, join, slice like methods? So let's see. So let's go to here. Suppose we are creating an array. LET sales is an array. Some 34,000, 32,000, 60,000. Some different values are there. Okay. Now I want to print these values. Then document.write sales. Sales is an array. .toString is a method. .toString, it returns all the array elements and displays them separated with comma. All the elements are displayed and separated with comma. Now we have another option. This is ToString. Example 1. This is ToString. Suppose I am using here another join, and I can use a custom separator. I can use my own separator. Then it will join all these elements by using that custom separator. We can use our own separator for handling them. That is done by using join. So join is also same, but it have its custom delimiters. So another important, here we can use the methods like slice, and you know that from 1 to 3, it will read 1, it will read 2. Third one is not included. So it will stop at 3. So that means it is going to return the values between that index. So that means it will be 1 and 2. That is slice. That means we can extract and return only what is required for that between indexes. Another important, so we have filter, find and map. Actually, filter is nothing but I want all the sales which are above 50,000. Later, when it is having complex data, it is very helpful. Like I want all products which belongs to electronics. Filtering is very important. So I want all the sales above 50,000. Then actually we just use here document dot write sales dot filter. Filter uses a callback function. It uses a function inside it. That means inside filter, we need a callback function. Means we need a function inside it. Filter will use a callback function. What this function will do is, this function will read every value. So by using a parameter value, by using this value parameter, so see, it looks little confusion if I write in one line, because professionally this is how we write. For your understanding sake, I will do one thing. First, we will write a function. So get data. Okay. This function get data will take a value. It will take a value and it will return. It will take a value and it will return. What it will return is value if it is greater than 50,000. This is the condition actually. That means what this get data is a function. This function will take value and it will return the value. So now what I am doing here, var result is equal to sales. In the sales, we have a filter. Filter is expecting a function and we have a function called get data. We have a function called get data. We are using that get data function. That means we are accessing that get data function. Now we want to print here document dot write result. We want to print that result. Actually, this result will contain all above 50,000. That means technically what happens here is, generally what happens here is, so here we have sales. That means this is 30,000. This is sent into this function and it will verify this condition, is it is greater than 50,000. If it is not greater than 50,000, then it will check the second one. If second one is also not greater than 50,000, then it will check the third one. If this third one is greater than 50,000, then it will store that here. So that means it will, after that, again, it will continue to the next one. This is not matching, it will stop. And this one is matching, then it will store that in the result. That means what this function is doing is taking every value from the sales. It is filtering that value and returning in this result. That's what actually it is doing. So that means what the function is doing. That means technically what the function is doing. Technically this function is taking every value and it is sending that value here. This is verifying the condition, and if it is matching, it will store it in the result, which we are printing here. We are printing here. So filter is going to filter and return all which are matching your condition, That is the nature of filter. So, but this is lengthy process. For your understanding sake, I written like this. Your understanding sake, I written like this. But actually, we write in single line in general. Suppose this is example 4. So this is for filter. So you can see, actually, we can write like this. What we do is document dot write. And what it is, sales dot filter. Filter uses a callback function. Later you will learn shortcuts of function. It will take value and it will return the value So which is greater than, or this time I say less than 50,000. Less than 50,000. That means it is going to print all the values which are less than 50,000. That is how we write the filters. This will be very important in future when you are dealing with complex data. Currently, I am not dealing any complex data, just numbers. Later, you will have complex data where you can filter based on various conditions. We will see that. But this is very important. And find also same like filter. But difference is find will return only the value, only the first occurrence value that matches condition. First occurrence value. That means in this sequence 30,000, 32,000, which one is matching less than 50,000? Less than 50,000, first one is matching already. Then it will return it and stop. It will not check for others. That means it will search for your value which is matching your condition, and it will find the first occurrence and it will return. It will return. Suppose I want, so greater than 50,000. Greater than 50,000, we have 42,000, we have 52,000, 60,000, but it is going to return which one? It is going to return 60 because that is the first occurrence. That is the first occurrence. Find will not return all. Find will return only one. So if you want only one that is matching the condition, then we have to use, this is example 5. Yeah. So this is find and it will return only one. Callback function is same. Everything same. Only the condition is important for this. So we have the options: toString, join, slice, filter, find. Map is an iterator. Actually, what is iterator? So technically, you should know that map, it is an iterator. Iterator is nothing but we generally call it as a software design pattern. Iterator is a software design pattern, and iterator pattern is it can read elements from a collection in sequential order. So it doesn't require any condition, initialization and counter. It doesn't require any condition, initialization and counter. So it is iterator. Iterators' advantage is they will read sequential order. It is a software design pattern. Actually, software design pattern is a very big concept. I will not discuss that now. So, but in software development, everything is a design pattern. We have to follow a lot of design patterns in designing software development. Just one example I will give you. One simple example I will give you. Suppose we have a game like chess game. So a general example I will give you so that you can understand. So we have a game like chess, and you want to learn chess. You don't know chess, you want to learn chess. Then you purchased a book written by a grandmaster. So written by a grandmaster. So world champion grandmaster written a book about how to play chess. You purchased it and you purchased it and you learned everything about chess. You are perfect now. You can play chess. So you learned from a book written by grandmaster. Now the point is, with this knowledge, can I attend a chess tournament? With this knowledge, can I attend a chess tournament where people are already experienced and playing chess from several years? Can I play with those people? Why can't we play? Why can't we play with them? They also same chess, we also same chess. We learned the same chess from the same thing. Everything is same. Then what will change from their side? Why we cannot play with them? Because what they do is, people who are experienced, it is not experience. So that means even you are 10 years experience, a newcomer can break you, right? The point here is not experience. The point here is the person who already playing that game from several years, he knows some tricks and he will implement those tricks on you so that he can easily win the game. He can easily win the game, right? So that means he will implement some tricks on you so that you can easily win the game. For example, suppose just a basic example here. Suppose we have some game, some like we have a tic-tac-toe game, right? Suppose here my choice is here, right? Then 100% guarantee that I am going to win. 100%. So if my first move is here, then 100% guarantee that I am going to win. That means how you can do that? How you can say that? Because now I have certain strategy. The person opposite to me, he knows the strategy, he will be fine, right? If we don't know the strategy, suppose he puts here, then my next move will be here. Then he puts here, then my next move will be here. Then game done, right? That means I can close here, I can close here. We have a strategy of playing. That means first move itself tells that I can win the game, right? The first move of opposite person tells that he can win the game because we have a strategy for playing the game. Strategy for playing the game. These type of strategies are not in books. Books will tell you about the rules, but they will not be in the references of strategies, because those strategies are not professional. Why they are not professional? Because if anybody other person knows about those strategies, then you can't, right? The point is they are not officially mentioned. Software development is also like that. You learned the programming, software designing, you learned complete perfectly. You are able to solve every problem that you have that given to you. You learned a technology very perfectly. Everything you can solve. So you are 100% perfect in learning the technology. Now suppose now a bank people came. Suppose a bank people came. A bank people came and these people asked you to build an application. Build an application with whatever technology you have learned. Then you will not waste time in building a application newly for the bank. So what we will do is, already for bank domain, several projects are already built. Several projects are already built. What we do is, we take those projects reference and we build an application for the bank. We will not directly try to build. Why? Because if you directly try to build, so many issues will come. So many technical issues will come. Already people who worked on it, they know those issues. They already solved them. They already solved them. They will tell that this is not the right way. You have to try in this way. For example, see, suppose you are facing any problem in program, some error came. You have an habit of copying that error, go Google and search, and somebody has posted an answer for that error. Am I right? How he knows that you will come with this problem? How he knows that you will come with this problem? Because he knows your approach. He knows your approach. He knows your approach because already he done that and he faced issue and he found a solution and he will put that. He will put that. Observe the answers every time. In the answers, they will never try to correct your problem. They will simply say that you are trying like this, don't do, try like this. They will provide you a correct approach. They will not try to solve your problem. Nobody, majority. That means 90% answers will tell that your approach is wrong. Please do in this way. They will not try to correct your entire code. Nobody will try to correct your entire code. They will simply say that your approach is wrong. So in software development, to build any application, we have certain ready-made approaches. We call them as design patterns. At high level, every software developer have to learn them. As of now, for freshers, it's very complicated concept. You can't understand them. But any software developer at high level with experience, he must have good knowledge of design patterns. He should not build everything new. He should follow the patterns. Why? Because patterns are already solved. They're already solved. Issues are fixed. There are no bugs. Then following those patterns will make the development easy. Like that, in software development, we have 24 patterns. We call them as GOF, gang of four, developed by 4 people. So 4 experts developed these patterns. We call them as gang of 4 patterns. These patterns we follow in software development. Hundreds of patterns are there, but all are derived from these 24. We call them gang of 4 patterns. In software development, everywhere these patterns will come. So what is the responsibility of these patterns? The patterns have a solution. By following those patterns, you can easily solve the problem. As a software developer, never do anything by yourself. That will lead to a lot of issues. Always follow patterns which are already solved, which are already fixed. Right? If you do try anything new, you will face a lot of issues. So iterator is a software design pattern. There are so many patterns actually. As I told you that we are not going to discuss them now, but just give you an idea about that actually. So just an idea about these design patterns. Actually, these are design patterns. These are design patterns. So actually, design patterns are the solutions for software design problems. And we have 23 design patterns. We call them as gang of 4 design patterns. They are categorized into 3: creational, structural, behavioral. Creational patterns are dealing with object creation mechanism. Structural patterns deal with designing of classes. And behavioral pattern deal with communications. And you see, these all comes under creational patterns: abstract, builder, factory method, prototype, singleton. These are out of your level as of now, right? So that is too much even to think about these things at this level, right? You don't need them now, but finally when situation comes, I will explain few patterns according to situation. As of now, we are learning a pattern called iterator. What is iterator? Iterator is a pattern. In this iterator pattern, it will enter into a collection. It will read values if there are values. If there are no values, it will stop. After reading the value, first value, it will again check is there another value. If there is another value, it will read it and return. Earlier, people have to write loops for that. Earlier people have to write loops for that. Those days gone now. We don't write loops anymore. Time waste. Why? Because what is problem with loop is loop requires, suppose we have a loop. Loop requires initialization. Initialization means where to start. It requires a condition, and it requires a counter. It requires a counter. Where to start, where to stop, when to increment, when to decrement. These are all nonsense now. We don't need all this. We don't need all this. Those days gone. If anybody is still writing these loops in JavaScript based environments, that is silly. Right? That means those days gone. So this is not the generation of the old technologies, means old approaches, time waste approaches, lengthy approaches. We simply use like this. See, for example, I will show you that here. Generally, we write like this. For where I is equal to 0, because index number starts with 0, and I less than sales dot length, means up to the end of sales. Then after first one, it should increment I by 1. Then we have to print document dot write. I want to print, suppose I am printing a list. We will print an expression. I am printing a list item, and I am printing a list item. This list item contains expression. In the expression, we will print sales. Sales of index number is how much? I. That is how I am writing. That means first time I value will be 0. Then it will get the first one. Second time it will be 1. It will get the second one. This is general traditional loops actually. These are traditional loops. Those days gone. So we write like this now. We write like this. This is loops. We write like this now. Sales.map. So, and map uses a callback function. And this callback function will read every value from the collection. And what we have to do, document.write. We have to print a list item. And this list item will print every value that it reads. Every value that it reads. So this is also same. Now I am adding some more extra value into it. And you can see it will get it. Now this is the new generation program for I0, J0. That's all nonsense now. Right? We never prefer them anymore. This is the approach we have to follow. So the technical approach is better use the fastest mechanism and better use the mechanism which is not burden to compilers. Right? These are iterators. So you will see this kind of approach in modern programming. Even now in the modern programming, we have asynchronous iterators. Asynchronous iterators are too advanced. Asynchronous iterator means, suppose this second one is taking time because it is heavy. Suppose it is a picture and reading picture is taking more time. Then it will not wait. It will go to the next one. And whenever this picture is ready, it will read next one and return others. Whenever picture is ready, it will return it. It will not wait for it. These are asynchronous iterators. Now we are in the generation of asynchronous programming. Right? In websites, when you try to see tutorials on JavaScript, W3 schools, that is only for schools, not for professional developers. School kids, JavaScript. That is not for professional developer. W3 schools only. That is only for school people, not for professional developers. For professional developers, MDN, Developers Network, Mozilla Developers Network. Mozilla is from the person who built JavaScript, Brendan Eich, MDN, right? Professional developers don't follow W3 schools, tutorial points and all, right? Because do you know tutorial points, W3 schools? Who is the author of JavaScript? Do you know? A fresher of BTech is author of JavaScript. Content writers they are. You see on tutorials point, one person will be there. Video. He will teach every subject in the world. For JavaScript, he only. For TypeScript, he only. For Angular, he only. React, he only. How? Robot, huh? Or is so genius that he knows every technology? Nothing. So scripted content, read it and narrate to you. They are not programming experts. They are not programming experts. There are content narrators. Content narrator means just like an anchor who is talking about something scripted without knowing the concept. That's it. That is it. That is the reason we don't prefer them, because they are all unprofessional. Everybody have to borrow the subject from MD and all. So due to that, what happens is people are still struck up with old methods. And when you go to learn new technologies, you will fail to handle. Because we see regularly, people come to learn Angular, people come to learn React like technologies. For that, we ask like we need basic JavaScript skills. Then they say that we already know JavaScript. But when you are talking about these maps, when you are talking about find filter like methods, when you are talking about sets and lambda expressions and all, they say that all these are JavaScript. Huh? But already they are working on JavaScript from several years. But modern JavaScript is used in advanced technologies. You should know that. That's the reason, forget about old methods. So don't prefer them. Don't try them. So anymore, because in future you will see everything in this way. This is the modern map techniques. So this is map is very frequently used now. So example for this is example program. I will show you the difference here. Already you saw the difference. This is map, and another technique without map, traditional. I will show you that. Traditional, this is one technique. These are all comes under these methods. Na? Other than methods, one more option is reading values by using loops. By using loops and external iterators. External iterators. We use external iterators also. External iterators also good. External iterators also good. So if you are situation wise, loops means we can use for. So for is a loop, while is a loop, do while is a loop. We don't prefer this anymore. We use for in, which is an iterator. We use for off, which is an iterator. So for in is iterator. Iterator of properties, and the for off is iterator of values. It is iterator of values, and all the above three, these three. So all these above three, that is for, while and do while, these are nothing but loops. These are loops, and you don't see anywhere majority 100%. Try seeing the websites. You will not see anywhere people writing while and do while loops anymore. You will not find them at all. Even now in the modern generation, you will not see people writing for loops anymore. Only iterators. We prefer using iterators. Iterators. So that is how we can access the elements and use them. How loops are defined? Syntax for loop. For where I is equal to 0, I less than, so some array dot length I plus plus, and we have to print, so document dot write array of 0, array of I, like this. What is pain in these loops, I will show you with examples, then you can understand more in better way. We will see some complex examples now. These are loops. Arrays are very simple with the iterators. Let's see iterator. We have two iterators explicitly. One is in and off. For in is used for reading all properties. What are properties of this array? Properties of this array means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 are properties. So for where property in sales. For where property in sales. This property is a variable name. You can give any name. You can give any name, right? Now I will print document.write. Document.write, I want printing a property. And you can see that it will print all the properties. It will print all the properties. Now, if I want to print all the values, you have to use an operator of. If I use operator of, it will print all the values. If I use the operator in, it will print all the properties. If you want to print both properties and values, then you have to use a technique. So both properties and values means in will print property. After printing the property, I put a hyphen. Then here I want to print, or better we use expression. Here I will put a square brace. In that I want to print property. I am printing the property. So BR, you can see all the properties are printed. And I want to print value. Simple. You can just use dollar here. What is the array name? Sales. Of property name. Property is 0, 1, 2, 3. And you can see it will print all the values. If you want to print both properties and values, then you have this technique. This is general technique that we follow for reading the values from an array. We can read values, we can read properties, we can read both properties and values. Properties and values. This is iterators. These are not loops. These are iterators. Through loops, you cannot read properties. We cannot read properties. So here, so much implementation is required. Here it is simple. These are the loops, and we have iterators. Iterators doesn't require a condition. They doesn't require initialization. They doesn't require any counter. So we have two iterators. Already I given them above. And this is an example. This is for reading all the properties and values. Properties and values. So we can use like this also. So this is, if you want to read values, then you have an option as off, and you can just print it. That means you have to print here. So we have to just print here property. Property. We have to print that property and define it. And it will print. Actually, it should give a reasonable name. Here, if you are using off, better use value. You can use anything. Variable name, you can use anything. Right? So the point is, but the key concept is how you will use this in presentation. This is very big concept, and this is the major concept. So I will give this one. This time I will give as off. Off, and we will keep value, and we need to print that value. Just I will print value plus BR. This is to print all the values. Print all the values. Off will print all the values. In will print all the properties. Now the major concept and very important concept is and adding elements, adding DOM elements using array. This is very big concept. This is the biggest concept. You must be very perfect in this. Actually, first point is how you can dynamically create any element. How you can dynamically create element. First point, you can create any create element method, element name, document.create method you can create, document.create element. Suppose I want to create a heading, then we have to use heading like this. Suppose I want to create an image, so document. So first step, element dynamic append child by using the method append child. We have so many options like append, we have prepend, majority a child element. So these two are excellent points to understand in order to add the elements dynamically. For example, see how we can handle the general approach. We will see first. See, suppose now we have a document, HTML head title. So dynamic, okay, in the body, button, add image to page, and below this I will keep in a div, and below this I keep another div, and I have an container. Okay. Now what is the concept? Concept is nothing but when I click add page, a new photo should come. There is no img tag. In my page, I don't have any img tag. I want an image to be created dynamically, put a picture, height, width, adjust, and add into this container. So when you want to do that on button click, so on click is add image. Okay, let's write the script for that. Is add image. Okay, and what is the logic here behind this? Logic is simple. First, how document dot create element and img. Okay, that means image is created and it is loaded in memory. How to access from memory? To access, have memory reference mean. That means this is in memory. How you will access it? There must be some memory reference. So we stored that in this pic. it is image, because you created img, so it is an image element. If it is an image, what properties pic will have? Will have src. Src is where we have in public, right? So then we have to write the path. So slash some we have some neckband, something like this, neckband.png, that is the image. Now what else you can give? Width is some 100. Okay. Height is also 100. Okay, you can add others, border and everything, whatever you want. Now picture is created, but where to add this? We have to add this into this container div. So how to access the get element by id? What is it? Container. Into it we need to add a element dot append child. Append child. Container is parent, into that child. Which child element? Pick. Now you see here, when I click, you see the inspect. In the inspect you can observe, so here in the body section, this is a container which is empty, and you see an img is created. So dynamically we are adding an element into the page. I told you that is wrong. Dynamically. So now this is element, not tag. So now the concept here is, this is general. This is an example how you can add any element into the example. But here the concept is, what about your array things? That means now let's do it in a different way. Suppose in this body section, I given here some container div, and id is equal to container, and have images, or say products. Products is an array, and in the products array we have array string type dot dot slash public slash images slash some neckband dot png. Okay, comma, another element, another is dot dot slash public. So here we have some desktop dot png, like this, and dot dot slash public slash images. So many other technical points are there, I will tell you. If anybody asks like what kind of value we can store in an array, you can store array, inside array also can be there. We will see that. Here currently what three path I have defined in an array, and this is a global variable because we written in a module scope. It is a global variable. When page loads, body loads, that means on load, body load, we will write the function here, function we have to read every path from the products. We learned so many techniques. How to read array. We will use an iterator now for where path of collection. What is it? Products. That means products is an array. No, this path. Okay. For every path, what we have to do, we have to create a picture. So where pick is equal to document dot create element. Which element? IMG. Okay. In that pick dot src should be what? It should be path. And what should be pick dot width? So pick dot height, it will be also 100. And add this document get element container. We have to append child. Which one? Pick. That means now we are writing this in iterator. Means what? It will read the first part. It will create one more image and it will add to dynamically reading the values from an array and we are adding into it. Adding the items. So this is a very important concept. Now this is where all our Java, not only JavaScript, any technology related to web development, client-side programming, this is what you need to create elements dynamically, add elements dynamically. This is just only beginning of creating elements. So much is there. Not only image, it's not only image. For example, suppose I have a heading, say select path. And a drop down have an ID or only one drop down is we will create picture created, fine. We will create where option is equal to document dot create element. We are creating option. So and where to add this option? Option must be added into select. That means how to access select? Document dot selector select dot append child. Which one to add? Option. That means now this path is dynamically generated into it. That means the values that are present in the array are creating this dynamically. So we are creating an option dynamically. Suppose you have some cities list, some products list, some examples we will see. Heading. So as image path list, I want to create an ordered list for those paths. Then I think you can tell now what we have to create element. Which element? Li. Li have value na? No. Li is container na? Li is a not text box. Li will not have value. Li will not have name like references. Inside list item, if you want to display anything, you cannot use dot text dot value because Li is a container. It will have inner HTML. divs, paragraph. You want to display inner HTML path. After that, where to add it? Document dot query selector OL dot append child. Which one to add? Li. Then you can see it will get the list items. It will get the list items for them. You can generate a list dynamically. You can generate a drop. Actually, we have tables also. Means we can generate tables dynamically, rows, columns. That's complex. We will see that. But generally, this is the approach of configuring the data. How we can read the data from, how we can dynamically create elements. So this is example for that. So now this is only general array, very general array of strings. We have array of numbers, array of strings. For that, we have to learn other data types also, we can see now. Now, once you know this, now we will design one real world example. We will see how we can we have to learn. That we'll see in our next session. Right? Tomorrow we will do that. Now, array methods like how to add elements into array, remove elements from array, how to search for element in array, all such things. So only one point, how to read and present, how to add into them, how to remove them, how to modify them. We have to learn them dynamically. That we'll see in tomorrow. Right? Tomorrow session we will discuss